Hello, welcome back to The Good, The Bad and The Stupid. It's Friday the 11th of October. Last one from me. Only been a short week, I've only done 3, so but anyway, take the rest of the weekend off if you've been listening. Do something exciting with your weekend. Obviously it's going to be belting down the rain, so you'll have to be bearing that in mind when you're thinking about things to do. You'll have to do it in the rain or in the indoors. I'm actually thinking about going to the cinema. That's always a winner on a rainy weekend, but I want to watch The Joker and it's going to be packed. And that food ban we were talking about yesterday, people are talking about banning junk food in public places. That should be extended, or should definitely be banned in cinemas. Why they sell the most noisiest, crinkliest, slurpiest and crunchiest foods in the cinema is beyond me. I don't think it bothers that many other people, to be fair, but for me, I seem to tune in to everybody. Even if they're fucking 4 rows away and 3 aisles back, I'll spot them or listen to them rather than see what's going on the cinema screen. So I better get myself psyched up if I'm going to go and try and ignore it and tune in. Anyway, so I sound like a miserable get there, don't I? But anyway, I'm going to move on to we'll start with the guy who climbed on top of the aeroplane, who was part of the Extinction Rebellion, protests and whatever. And he managed to get himself on top of a British Airways plane, right? Even though he's actually partially blind. He basically was a ticket holder. He bought a ticket and then he's going up to get onto the plane, I think. But somehow he's bypassed security and managed to clamber on top of the aeroplane, even though he's partially blind. So how the fuck's he managed that without having to even get one of the security guards to give him a shimmy up sort of thing? Because it doesn't look like there's any stairs or anything there giving him, to help him get onto the top of the roof. And then he gave some kind of recorded message saying he was shitting himself up there because he was pretty high up. He probably needed them to help him get back down, to be fair. But anyway, he's made his point, and I'm not sure whether the plane was grounded. But another guy who was on another plane, he managed to get the plane grounded, and he got kicked off the plane, and the plane had to take off an hour later. But he was stood up in the aisle and decided to give his protest, and all the holidaymakers on there were. It's a catch-22, isn't it? Because you might agree with him or sort of, yeah, man, I get your point and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, you're like, but I really want to get to Tenerife or wherever it is we're going as well. I don't want the flight to be cancelled. So you're putting everybody in an awkward position there. But at the same time, I wasn't on the plane, so I can see, people are trying to do something. That's a good thing in my book. You've got to have people standing up against, if people aren't doing stuff that you want to do. This is democracy. Peaceful protests. Just don't do it when I'm getting on a plane, please. And now the guy who's blind, I mean, he should. He's got to come out and tell us how he did that, because he's got to have been given a bit of inside help there. I don't encourage anybody to, sack anybody from British Airways, but I can't imagine he's done it by himself. Anyway, rugby. If you're going on your way to the Rugby World Cup, England against France tomorrow, don't, because it's been cancelled. I was going to watch that tomorrow morning. I've been bloody looking forward to that, and it's been cancelled because of a typhoon. So Typhoon Hagibis. That's the name of the typhoon. It's a good name. It's better than Storm Brian, like we get over here. But Typhoon Hagibis is coming through, and it's cancelled the game. I don't know whether that means that they're going to replay it, or whether it just gets cancelled as a draw. Do they obviously? They should actually replay it. Well, then they're hoping that the other 2 games go ahead, because there's 3 on tomorrow. So why didn't they just move that game to a place where the typhoon isn't, so that the game could go ahead? Unless they're going to replay it, that's fine. But if you can't just go, right, we're just going to give that one as a 0 point and just move forward from there, because that's not fair for the fans who've bought all the tickets, have they? So anyway, we'll soon find out about that. I'm not too sure what the news is. It might have changed. That was from this morning. So anyway, speaking of sport, well, it's not really sport. The wags are still wagging, or having a wag off against each other, aren't they? The Vardy Rooney gate situation. So all the other wags are all wading in now and throwing their catty blows at each other. So it's all very sort of. It's all very. You wonder whether, you know, obviously the girl, they're all saying now that she's suspect, this Rebecca Vardy, and she's 100% behind it. But you always got to wonder whether with this social media, whether, especially with the Sun. Hang on, is the Sun newspaper who the leaks were leaked to the Sun newspaper? Now the fucking Sun have got a form for tapping people up and, you know, fucking and getting information in unscrupulous ways. So, you know, I wouldn't trust them to have hacked into people's accounts or anything like that for my liking. And also, the story in the paper, that's why I pulled it out actually. The story in the paper I was just about to read from, was in the Sun, and they're just giving the whole lowdown how all these wags have come out to slag off the Rebecca Vardy, and that Rebecca Vardy's now taking court action against Colleen Rooney and whatever. But the Sun, you know, they're printing everything that's going on or whatever, but they're not coming out and going, oh, this is what actually happened or whatever else. So if she's swearing blind that she didn't do it, then if she's been giving it to the Sun, then the Sun should come out and back her, shouldn't they? If that's the case, they should go, well, I can 100% guarantee that we didn't get the information from her. But they're not doing that. They're just printing all the dog shit fucking stories. So that's the fucking Sun written all over, isn't it? You know, throw her under the bus if she hasn't done it, and they're not really sort of backing her up. They're letting the story roll on so they can get more news in the paper. So there you go. If you did do it, that's your just desserts. And if you didn't do it, then there you go. That's fucking rubber stamped what the Sun are all about anyway, doesn't it? Was it this guy's funny? A hooded thug was banged to rights when he threw a house brick at a car window and it bounced back and smashed him in the face. I've only seen the pictures here, but I'd like to watch the video of that. I'll probably watch it on repeat and find it extremely funny. You can't beat you know, some fucking idiot, you know, tea leaf, brainless, and you can't beat it coming back on him. So he's basically threw this house brick at the car window. There's an idea there. Rubber windows for cars, so that could happen every time somebody tries to do something like that. Rubber windows, electric shocks. There was a guy the other week who was he wired up his van to the electrics, so that everybody who touched his car or van had an electric shock, and it was legal as well. The police or whatever deemed it legal. Maybe it was a low voltage or whatever, but that's you know, you've got to protect your own, ain't you? So any which way is good enough for me. So yeah, apparently he's been arrested. Hopefully they name and shame him. The police are putting a lot of things on Twitter these days, aren't they? Like a kind of modern day version of the stocks, you know, where they put them in there for everybody to take the piss out of them and ridicule them. Some of the things on Twitter just crack me up. I'll have to print some off next time. But they put the picture of the mugshot up there and everybody just takes the piss out of it for like fucking hundreds of comments, and that it's hilarious. So it's almost enough to put you off being a criminal to not have your face in that situation and just get ripped the shit out of. You'd never live it down. Beeb veteran John Humphreys made the Queen laugh when he had a foul-mouthed row with Prince Philip. So there you go. They're effing and blinding behind the scenes. You don't think that, do you? But John told him that Philip told him, who's his name? Was it John Humphreys from Mastermind and one of Question Time, whatever? Philip told him that he'd nicked his fucking car when he got into the wrong car apparently, and he told him, and the guy told him to piss off, but then realised he was wrong and said sorry. So good. That's fucking humanised them. You know what I mean? I think speak, be who you are. I wouldn't act differently in front of the Queen and whatever else. I don't think. I hope not. You'd be yourself, didn't you? If they tell you to fuck off, then tell them to piss off. It's equal then, isn't it? At least you're on a level playing field. You don't get told to fuck off and then go, oh, sorry, sir. You know, at least, that shows they're a little bit human. I wonder if the Queen is ever doing it. Maybe he didn't really shed any light on that one. With the Queen and Prince Philip are telling each other to fuck off, or getting into any kind of relationship spats. It's probably a bit late now at the age of 80 or 90 odd, isn't it? But it can go both ways. You're probably extremely pissed off with each other after all that time, or you fucking give up and just go, well, they're never going to change. I'll just accept that he's a twat, and vice versa. I'm not going to say anything about the Queen on his behalf. I'm sure she's got her downsides as well. Anyway, Randy Plumber, that's not somebody's name, that's actually Randy Plumber. That sounds like an American, doesn't it? Randy Plumber is a bloke who has been doing somebody's plumbing while they were away. I see this a lot as well. People now are setting up cameras in their houses, especially like, they're setting them up for the burglars, aren't they? But people who've been doing work, DIY, whatever, they've been in there doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Like this guy brought another bloke's wife in and had sex with her on their sofa, and they've got it all on video, drinking their beer as well. And the police, I don't think there's anything illegal about the whole thing, apart from the police are investigating the alleged theft of alcohol because they drank a couple of beers out of the fridge. So that's all they can pin on him, apparently. But anyway, they're pissed off, and he's a friend of theirs, apparently, and also a friend of theirs is the wife of another bloke, and fair play to them, they've got straight onto the phone to the bloke who's the real husband, and said, you need to know what's going on here, and fucking filled him in with it. So there you go, dirty rat, Randy. Well, he's not Randy, what's his name? Mike Wilson. Named and shamed. Anyway, he's got a lot of answering to do down his local. That's fucking a scene from EastEnders, if ever there was one. Ghostbusters, Angry Vicar has stopped. There's a bloke who does Ghostbusters tours in, where is it? Gloucestershire, Prestbury in Gloucestershire. Apparently England's most haunted city, according to the guy's Ghostbusters tour. Of course it is. But anyway, he does these ghoulish tours, and they've got apparently a hooded figure called the Black Abbot, who endlessly roams the local churchyard. Anyway, so he takes all the visitors, or the people on his tour, all go to the churchyard, and the vicar's been getting pissed off and causing a scene about the people in the graveyards of the church and taking photos of the church and whatever else. And he's made this guy cancel his ghost tours. Sounds to me like they might have got close to revealing who this Black Abbot actually was. Sounds like something out of a Scooby-Doo cartoon. Excuse me. Sounds like something out of a Scooby-Doo cartoon. The black hooded figure, the Black Abbot who endlessly roams the local churchyard. Could it be the vicar himself on his way out to do some dodgy dealings, and then coming back with, I don't know, whatever he's got under his tunic and whatever else, or maybe he's been off doing something untoward, and he's been close to being caught, so now he's like quicked up a scene, and he's banned everybody from the graveyard. So that tour's gone down the flames. So we need a secret camera in the graveyard, if you please, and see if we can catch him out. It does look a bit of a shady character, I've got to tell you. What's his name? I don't know what his name is. Do I know his name? Reverend Nick Bromfield. You look shady. There's something not right about that. I think you're the Black Abbot. Prove me wrong. Anyway, this podcast will be long dead and buried before you've even heard of it, I'm sure. Jeremy Clarkson and his band of merry, what do you call it? Him and his mates, anyway. Richard Hammond and James May all banked £86,783 a day last year. That's amazing. I mean, that is. Although I hate the program and I find them not that interesting or not that entertaining, should I say? I'm very much respect that amount of money. You got to do it for that kind of money, and all they're doing is having a good time. I'm not saying the program's shit. I'm just saying it's just a bit overkill now, isn't it? It's been done. But anyway, they earn a fortune by the sounds of it, and the pretty much next to don't work. That's the closest thing to not working what they do. You know, just drive cars around, go on holiday, drive cars around, or swing caravans off a fucking cliff edge, or shoot Allegros out of a cannon or some shit like that. It's just fun, isn't it? You know. So one day, hopefully, I'll have a job like that, because I don't get anywhere. You can take a bloody couple of zeros off that lately for me. Let's hope this podcast gets the money that I deserve. I'm sure there's somebody out there laughing at me there, laughing at that bit. Anyway, handshakes lasting longer than 3 seconds can trigger anxiety. I agree with that. They could also jeopardise relationships between world leaders and business chiefs, expert says. You know, when you shake somebody's hand and they sort of prolong it a little bit, or you prolong it a little bit. I always find that really weird when somebody keeps the handshake going. It's almost as if they're... I get it, it's almost like a bit of a power struggle there, maybe, or they're trying to sort of, you know, you're ready to let go, but they haven't let go, so they're kind of like they're holding on to you. It's almost like you could start even having a fucking thumb fight on some of them. But the worst one of them all was this one that what's he called? Emmanuel Macron and Donald Trump. I saw that one, and they was just like pulling each other's arm. It was like nobody wanted to. It was almost like one wanted to be over the other one, and no one would let go. And do you know how long that handshake went on for? Guess? Okay, I'm going to tell you. 29 seconds. That's how long the handshake went on. 29 seconds. It don't sound a lot, but you try and hold somebody's hand for 29 seconds when you know it's awkward and one of you wants to release. So I get that, and apparently it's like a little bit of a power struggle, and it can cause anxiety to the one who isn't looking to, wants you to let the fuck go, basically. So, you know, next time you shake my hand, anybody, just make sure you remember I like to keep it under 3 seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting nervous, or think about what your intentions are, what's your plans. Britain's former top spy, I don't know what I'm going on about. Britain's former top spy has amazingly claimed that aliens do exist. But then he actually hasn't confirmed fuck all. His amazing claim that aliens do exist. What he's said is, I think we should go forward on the assumption that nothing on this planet is unique. And to say that the universe signs means it would be extraordinary if comparable life doesn't exist elsewhere. So he hasn't said that there's aliens in other, or there's aliens do exist. He's saying he thinks aliens most likely exist, as a lot of people think. Anyway, when I first saw this, there's a picture of him there, and he's got really starey eyes. So he's another weird-looking bloke. So I wouldn't necessarily trust what he says. I would trust what Professor Brian Cox says. He's got the, he could tie me up in knots. I believe everything he said with regards to the universe. He's just got one of those voices, hasn't he? He comes across with such knowledge. And I wonder, I haven't looked into it, but whether he says there's life in the universe, or whether there could be. I personally think that there is. I'm not going to go into the reasons why. I haven't got time. But and now it looks like we talked about this the other day. They found a planet 110 light years away that can support life. That's pretty far away, so they ain't going to be any time here soon, unless they're here already. And they, trying to figure out a way to get their spacecraft back. And we were talking about flying to Mars, and how somebody won't be able to actually get back. It's a one-way trip, pretty much. How's somebody gonna make it here from 110 light years away? Probably take them 15 or 20 years just to get here. Just to find that it's fucking shit. It's not shit. They're going to come and find that all this Extinction Rebellion thing going on. That we're destroying the planet, according to many. Anyway, from destroying the planet to destroying your nose, more than 8 tons of cocaine is consumed in London every year. Shock research reveals. It's not really shocking, is it? I think we know this one already. The capital's coke market is now estimated to be worth £1 billion. So there's an industry to get into. That's that's like fucking. There's a lot of money floating around in the cocaine industry, and they know this by testing the water for benzoyl, whatever that is, and it's a compound produced by the body when it breaks down cocaine. So they're testing that in all the water, and we've got twice the amount of the nearest closest city is Barcelona, then Amsterdam and Berlin. So we're top of the pops when it comes to partying, and that's most of that is all the city bankers, isn't it? I mean, most of all the other cities around the country can't afford the fucking stuff. And the city bankers have got all the money, and they're probably buying it and chucking it around all over the place like these. Look at me, look at me. I do cocaine, or buying champagne. So those people who buy champagne in the pubs when they buy a £3,000 bottle of champagne, but then have it wheeled through the bar with sparklers and whatever, so everybody has to look and find out who is the guy that's buying the champagne, or who is the idiot that's bought a £3,000 bottle of champagne that tastes like piss. So he thinks everybody's going, oh, fucking amazing, look at that guy, but everyone's actually thinking, what a fucking idiot. But anyway, it's all right if he's giving you free cocaine by the looks of it, because it looks like there's plenty of it going around in London. So I'm not saying it's good, bad or the other. I'm just saying it's there. It's not for me to tell you what to do if you're in London. I'm from Birmingham, so I'm sure we're not far behind. We're just nicer people. Oh yeah. Okay, going to finish up on a couple of more things. Invasion of the daddy longlegs. Daddy longlegs invasion is underway due to the wet weather and the summer heat wave. Daddy longlegs, real name, crane flies. Did you know that? I think I knew that, but I think I still call them daddy longlegs. They're spotted in huge numbers at the moment after the sudden arrival of heavy rain. Actually, I had a nest of them a couple of days ago in the bedroom. There must have been loads of about 20 little baby ones and the one big one. I managed to get them all out of the window. Hopefully I didn't kill them, but apparently they only live for 15 days anyway, so if I had, they wouldn't have lost much. They'd have just been sat in that place for probably 14 of that 15 days until they go walkies, because all they do is go looking for a mate and then die. So not much of a life, but anyway, I guess it's easy. You ain't got to grow up. You ain't got to learn. You ain't got to get a job. You ain't got to worry about your pension. You just got to be a crane fly, die. All you got to worry about is some little kid coming along and pulling all your legs off. We've all been there once upon a time. City officials in Missouri are planting flags in piles of dog feces as part of a campaign to get residents to clean up after their pets. So they're putting, some people are leaving dog shit in the park, and they're putting a flag in it saying, "Whose turd is this?" And we're watching and all this kind of stuff. So that's quite good. Whether it works or not, I don't know. They'll have a shock if they turn and find out that it's actually a human that's doing it anyway. Could be. I'm sure stranger things have happened. I know people who've done it. Old school, or it could be one of the one of your swampies, or these so-called crusties that that's the name they're giving to the Extinction Rebellion people, because they're standing up. Half these people aren't crusties, They can't call everybody hippies who are trying to think about saving the planet. In fact, one woman had a big banner yesterday saying, "Call me a crusty," or "Am I a crusty, or am I a 53-year-old CEO of a important company, bank, or whatever it was that she was?" So she did the touche back on the Boris Johnson crusty comments. Anyway, keep doing what you're doing. Let's see where it goes. going to finish up on what I'm going to finish up on. Two more things then. A brewery owner shut down one of his pubs, allegedly because he was upset when a drinker used the F word. So one person, actually, only one person used the F word. I'm going to say, said fuck. And Humphrey Smith popped in for a pint on Sunday, which had been closed for years until a new landlord and his wife moved in, reopened it 7 weeks later. Next thing you know, somebody swore in there and the bloke closed it and walked away from the position. He's actually shut it, put boards up and everything. He's literally fucking, right, I can't handle that. He's in the wrong profession if he fucking can't handle people swearing in a pub. Jesus. That is like, that's where people go to swear. They go to tell, get shit off their chest. So I think you need to, there's me in the cinema, can't handle people eating the crisps and that. This guy's in the pub, can't handle the fucking people swearing and that. So we're both in the wrong places. Right, last one. Raiders stole a till with under £2 inside from a cashless register in a bar called Dirty Vegans in Bournemouth. So he's not having a great weekend. He's managed to fucking go to all the effort, all the hard work. Another dippy, dizzy fucking idiot of a burglar, robber, and he's run away with a till, and all he's had is £2. So there you go. Spend it well. Have a shit weekend, if you will. Hopefully the till is not worth anything, so he can't sell that and bump up his winnings. Okay, gonna leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and gonna see you all again, or gonna do it another one again as of Monday next week. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.